Happy Saturday morning. That means it is time for Cynthia Hash to visit with us and tell us all the reality of real estate. Happy spring, Cynthia. I think most of the snow outside of some of the shopping centers where it's about 2 stories tall has melted off now. How's this first look at spring, this spring preview treating you?
Yeah, I tell you what, I think there's a little bit of freedom from the snow and the ice that we've experienced for normal than a little bit more than normal. And so
Mhm.
we're seeing a little bit more inventory that's going to be coming on the market. So I
Oh,
think that's a
really?
good thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Oh.
it is a good thing. And
Does that happen a lot in the spring? Do people kind of get out of the snow
oh yeah.
melts and then the people start saying, "Oh, let's look around."
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
you
Well, what
learn something
happens
new.
is that, it's that spring feeling that it's time for a change. It's like, let's see, do I do spring cleaning now
Or just
or
sell the darn
or
thing.
just sell the darn thing, right?
Well, that
Exactly.
happened to me. All the snow melted in my yard, and it reminded me of all the projects I hadn't finished that they had covered. Like I'm trying to,
Yeah.
replace a gravel backyard patio thing to with grass, and it looked so nice, all covered in snow. And then the snow melted. I'm like, oh, I still have
Mm,
this to do, don't I?
exactly. That's
Yeah,
right.
I get
Well,
you.
I was at a house the other day that I'm like, oh my gosh, if it's this messy on the outside because it's vacant, and it was a house that a landlord was, had a tenant in there for a while,
Oh dear.
and they messed it up so bad, uh, inside and out, but there was stuff hanging all over the thing. It was like this pink um, angel hair, and that was. I don't even know what they were doing. But it was
Interesting.
pink angel hair all over the place. It's like toilet papering, TPing a house,
That's
but
so
with
bizarre.
pink. Very bizarre. It was.
I
Eh,
don't understand. Several of my friends are property owners, landlords, and I don't get it. I mean, I felt bad when my landlord raised my rent to the past the point where I could pay it, but I wasn't going to
Yeah.
damage his house,
Well, of course.
you know.
But when you do stuff like taking um, carving and then paint, yes, carving on granite countertop, F you.
Oh my
And
God.
stuff like that. It was just like awful. I kid you not, I don't know. I mean, it was human
Oh
uh,
no, no, not too
stuff.
early on a Saturday
Yes, it's
morning for the
terrible.
thought. Oh
But
my
in the
God.
attic, Joe, in the
What?
attic. Yes, in the
That's
attic.
very strange stuff, but
It's very strange, and it
and
was just and the refrigerator absolutely stunk to high heaven, and
And there's such, the politicians love to take shots at property owners and landlords.
yes,
You
because
listen to
they
the
think we're
General
made of
Assembly.
money. It's not true because you're
It
spending
costs a
all
lot.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it costs a lot. I mean, they're having to renovate pretty much the whole house. I mean, all the carpeting,
Oh my God.
it just stunk really bad, and they had animals there that they didn't tell the landlord about and didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. And on top, and trash, literally trash. I went around with gloves and a bag and filled up a trash bag worth of trash all around the out. No, not the inside, because the inside was worse. All around the outside in the yard. What people don't understand is that um, these are the types of things that make your rent go up. Because
Sure.
if you because if they have to turn around and put 30 grand into the place, then they're not going to give you the best discount on the next person who's going in there to rent.
Well, yeah, I've always, I don't know, maybe I was just raised weird, but it was always in my head to treat the place as if you owned it.
Well, yeah, you should. And but a lot of tenants are tenants for, whatever reason, and they can't get a mortgage. And but I've actually seen properties that owners treat it the same way,
Oh
that they
dear. Yeah.
probably should never have been an owner.
Well,
But
I don't, I don't know how you have people come over. If you have friends, do they come over and
the
kind of
f-
move the piles of
well,
newspapers? And
yeah, if you think about it though, birds of a feather stick together, right? So
I
yeah,
guess so. I
yeah,
guess so.
yeah.
But so you were saying at the onset of all this,
Yeah, I was trying to. I know.
before we start hollering, get off my yard. Um, you were talking about people getting
Mhm.
that spring, let's sell the place or buy a new place kind of,
That's right. And
happy
decisions
feet.
are, yeah, decisions are very, very difficult in those situations. It's not just it shouldn't be just made by the heart,
Hmm.
it needs to be made by the head. And so what I'm talking about today is 7 discussion points for sellers who are on the fence.
Okay.
And this is the NAR consumer guide that is very, very helpful, I think. And so if you're in the process of having those inclinations,
Hmm.
okay, about putting your house on the market, but you're just kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know how to make this decision, and stuff like
Sure.
that. Then you have basically this is a is something that will help prospective sellers
Okay.
think through the decision, and this, and also it will end up, like, if you can take this kind of a list basically
Mhm.
to your real estate professional and get them to help you with this, okay.
Is one of the
uh
questions, I don't have a
mhm,
real estate professional though? I mean, because I think a lot of people that might be the case. They might hear you on the radio, but
mhm.
people don't buy and sell property all the time. So if you've lived in a
Right.
house for any number of years, you might not have a real estate guy or gal.
Yeah, well, go to findhomesrealty.com, and that's our entire roster there. We're a boutique brokerage, and but we help people in the Charlottesville side of the mountain and the Valley side of the mountain, and I think it's a very and we're very hands-on, okay,
Hmm.
very helpful and things like that. And I think that you need not only a list like this to start thinking about it, if this is what you have some sort of change. So if the, so you got to think this. These are some of the questions to ask yourself, but it's
Hmm.
also something that you can bring to your realtor who can help you with this lifestyle change. Okay.
Okay.
So one of the things is, does the home still fit you and your family if you have one? And it's not an easy yes or no answer. So what you would see is you'd have life changes in some way
Hmm.
that alter basically the way you think about your home now. Well, that could be adding household members. That maybe you've adopted a child, maybe you've just had a baby, maybe
Hmm.
you have maybe your in-laws or your parents are, one of them passed away and the other one is needs to live with you.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
adding
Happens all the
household,
time.
yes, it does. Adding household members is something that might be a reason that you would need to move. Also, separating from a partner. That could be a divorce.
Oh boy.
That could, yes, that could be, or you just, maybe you were just in a relationship and that was separating. Perhaps even maybe it would be something like maybe your partner passed away.
Mm.
I mean, now it's like I know one lady right now who is actually wanting to sell her house, even though it might be better for her financially to just go ahead and do like a reverse mortgage because she has no family and no
Yeah,
family.
the house,
Yeah.
is just too much,
The house is too much, but also the fact that she would have the money if she did a reverse mortgage to hire people to come clean her house or hire people to come do her lawn work. The problem is that, she lost that partner, that her husband, and there's just way too many memories right there.
That's an intrinsic point.
Yes.
That is.
Yeah, and it's like when you know you might be, maybe you're an empty nester, maybe you're watching your children move away, your adult
Mhm.
children move away, or in my case, in 2015, the last time I moved was 2015, and that was because I couldn't be in the same house after my son
Oh,
died.
right.
Eh, Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So
And
watch.
that kind of
So.
loss is really, really hard. And sometimes you don't
Mhm.
realize it right at the onset. And so you have to,
Yeah. Hmm.
be able to, move that process or accept later
Exactly.
on to say, you know what, maybe it is time to move on. And it's
Yeah,
hard because now you're in a position where you're saying, do I want to let go of the memories or do I
that's right.
or
Hmm.
do I want to hold on to the memories? It becomes very challenging.
Yeah, yeah, it is very challenging, and I will just at the moment, let me give you a little plug to go to
Exactly.
mitchellhashfoundation.com
Good point.
and see if you and because we do suicide awareness, and we support Spark Walk,
Hmm.
which is Region 10 here in this area. We also pay for counseling and things of that nature. Our son was a Marine, and he was a mechanical engineer. He graduated from UVA after being out of the Marine Corps for 4 years, and just something just snapped.
Hmm.
And so anyway, those are some of the things. That's a life change, and I could not continue to be in that house.
Yeah,
And so
understandable.
that's why we moved. So, or if, and it's very, very lonely when adult children start moving away. It can be very lonely.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you might even have a change of in your maybe your personal interests, which or maybe your personal needs. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
one person who really doesn't want to, leave, but they think they have to because they're in up in their 80s, and they need to, and they have, very expensive and very nice stair lifts and things like that, and they can live all on one level because they have a primary suite, a master suite on the first floor. And so you would think that that person wouldn't want to leave. Well, and they don't have much family around, so they're going to probably move to an assisted living, progressive assisted living
Sure.
situation in back to out of state. So these are the things that really that was a personal need. Personal interest might be something completely different.
Hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of that. I love the Four Seasons, but I'd rather move a little bit further south, just
Yep.
because maybe you're having allergy issues, or maybe you're having arthritis issues, or maybe,
Hmm.
whatever. But it can also make, if the home for some reason feels too large or too small, all of a sudden, it just feels like you need to make a change. So that's a big one right there. The second one
And
I
that's
have
just
is
question one.
that is just question one, exactly. The question two is would be have you made a career or lifestyle shift of any
Right.
sort? So that would mean things like a new job. Maybe that new job is much further from home than you anticipated.
Hmm.
Maybe the commute that you thought was tolerable at one point feels like a total drain on you now. Perhaps you have an ill family member that you're having to take care of, and that 45-minute commute needs to be put down to 15 minutes
Great
so
point.
that you can take care of them. And also just a flat out, who knows? Maybe it's your dog. Our dog just got diagnosed about 4 months ago with diabetes. Somebody has to be here every 12 hours to give him a shot, and he has to eat beforehand. And so, uh, you know, that's a lifestyle shift as well.
Sure,
Uh, y-
absolutely.
yeah. These things, and you can't commute for 45 minutes on both ways and feel like, there's that that you're having a good quality of life.
Sure.
If you have to be home, it becomes pressure. It's full of pressure. I know one of our tenants is actually, they moved about 30 minutes closer
Hmm.
basically to their job. It still takes them a while to get there. But that's the reason why they moved. They were able to get, 30 minutes closer. But here's the thing too. Maybe, maybe you don't like living in the city anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe you don't like living in the suburbs anymore. Maybe you want acreage,
Or maybe you want to
and
get rid of acreage. I mean, there are
or
people
you
who
never
have to
know.
work from home and they don't want to do the
That's
satellite
right.
internet anymore, and they want to get somewhere where it's a little closer and they can work from.
Don't you love the Firefly though? I'm so glad that came about. But if you,
They're
yeah,
my
you could be,
neighbors. I have to say yes.
you have to say yes, of
Yes,
course.
and I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. They are actually my
I
neighbors.
know, I remember you telling me that. But these are all legitimate reasons to consider, selling, right?
Mhm.
The other thing is, have kids, okay, changed your priorities in some way? So whether it's kids that don't live with you, that live nearby,
Mhm.
or kids that live in your house. So you may love your neighborhood, but maybe there's changing circumstances in some way.
Mhm. Sure.
Maybe you've decided it's not right for your children. Maybe there's no children for them to play with in the neighborhood,
Or
you
they've
know?
moved so far away that it's, you need to be someplace
Yeah.
easier for them to get to.
Well, yeah. So you might be, maybe you want to be closer to parks and recs and,
Mhm.
outdoor things. Maybe closer to Walnut Creek Park or other parks, all over the place. I'm not sure if you know this, but we're one of the greenest. Charlottesville happens to be one of the greenest cities in
Oh
the
yeah.
country because of per capita the number of parks. But maybe it's just schools. So you would prefer perhaps a student ratio, teacher ratio difference, maybe a little bit, better
Sure.
ratio that's in your mind.
Mhm.
The other thing, it could be, greater enrichment opportunities, like maybe closer to museums or closer to, maybe you need closer to medical needs, you know.
Oh yeah, hospital.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
forget about that,
Hmm.
in Harrisonburg with Centara,
Yeah.
and down Fishersville, where you've got RMH.
Augusta.
Yeah, and
Augusta Medical Center.
or in
Uh,
Charlottesville, you've got
we got
Martha
the
Jefferson
Martha
and
Jefferson.
UVA.
Yeah, yeah. Centaur, Martha Jefferson, UVA, and then right across the mountain, Augusta Medical Center.
Yep.
Uh, you know, maybe you're a veteran and you would prefer to live in Richmond and sell here.
Hmm.
Maybe that hour and a half commute to your doctor at at uh,
The VA.
at the VA is just not conducive anymore. So there's a lot of reasons that you could those kinds of special needs as well. That all of these are very, very good reasons
Are
to
these
move.
questions because I mean, we've only gone through two of them, and you've got somebody that can somebody look at all these questions online somewhere, Cynthia?
Yeah, you will be able to after we've put up the recording of the
Oh,
show.
okay. All right.
Yeah, you'll be able to see that. So number four, we
Note to
have been
Joe,
through three,
get
not
the
just two.
recording.
I know. Get the recording. That's what you need to do. Go to findhomesusa.com, go to podcast, and then that
Right.
right there is right there what you need. So the number four is, have you had a change in income? So this is,
Yeah.
you might have had a huge promotion, or maybe you've had an inheritance. Wouldn't that be something? And that might spark some sort of desire to move up, maybe to a home that's larger, or maybe to a home that has, closer in, that has more amenities.
Hmm.
Maybe you can afford, an HOA dues that you couldn't be able to afford before.
Right.
But then on the flip side, maybe you're going from two incomes down to one, maybe, or maybe
Retirement.
your
Yeah.
retirement might be involved here.
Hmm.
Maybe you need to downsize, have a house that's a little bit more manageable, maybe a little bit more manageable mortgage too, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and so number five is like say a big question you should ask for your ask your realtor is and go to findhomesusa.com and find us. Is the market ripe for a sale right now? And I'll be honest with you, there's no quote unquote right time to sell. Every single market, okay, every house, every homeowner situation, every single market is different.
Hmm.
And but selling when the market demand is high can be advantageous. So a realtor, which is a member of the National Association of Realtors, can talk with you about your market's current dynamics and your home's market value. Okay.
Hmm.
So that's the most important thing in the whole thing is to be able to know who to talk to, who can help you with these decisions, and you know there might be a reason. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Number six, okay, is have the interest rates changed? Well,
Hmm.
right now they're in pretty good shape. You can get a mortgage, a residential mortgage for about 6% now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I heard that
so.
coming may actually
Mhm.
get below six.
I will eventually. That's right. It probably within the next quarter. But or what about refinancing? Okay, to
Hmm.
lower your monthly payment. But I want to say something here that people might not know about, and that is that if it's not going to be worth refinancing if it's only going to be 2% difference. It's just not. So
Yeah.
people are going to refinance because they got a 7% mortgage rate. It's usually better to continue to wait until you maybe get a 5,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I
But
feel so bad for the folks who call me and
mhm.
ask me to refinance because my interest rate is 3.2 and
Oh, well.
and you can hear them kind of sighing, go, "Oh, okay,
Oh,
never mind. Sorry to bother you." But
yep. Yep. That rate drop, though, might also be an opportunity to trade up to that home
yeah,
you thought you could not afford.
good point.
Yeah. So, and then number seven, okay, are you ready for a turnkey home? All
What does
right.
that mean?
Well, maybe you're finding your home a little too expensive or a little too difficult to maintain.
Okay.
You're kind of, tired of doing this. You've been in the house for 20, 30 years and or maybe you bought a fixer-upper with all these grander ideas, right?
Yeah.
But you learn that the renovations are, well, it just ain't your jam. You know, in
You
those
had the best intentions.
you did, and that's fine. But in those situations, think about a move to a turnkey home. Okay, that your sanity and your family harmony beat living in limbo. Let me just tell you that. So if you are it's just like when your car is it when is it time to trade it in, right?
Yeah. That's
uh,
right. That's right.
but are you the type of person that's going to fix it up before you sell it? Or are you going to have a 30-year, roof and a 30-year, uh, HVAC system and a 30-year hot water heater and a 30-year everything? This house is
Yeah.
30 years old. What are you going to do?
Right.
So these are the things you need to ask your realtor.
Now, what does
And
turnkey mean? Does that mean furnished or does that mean?
no, not
Oh,
really.
okay.
It might mean maybe you need new construction, you
Oh,
know.
like your friend in Greene County.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you need new construction, the couple things that you need to know is anything that's being built right now is usually not on a lot of acreage. So it might be, it's the closer in to town, the closer you are going to be to having a postage stamp size lot.
Mhm. Which
You
some
know.
people, as you said in an earlier list
hmm
point, is a good idea. Maybe I don't want to cut, an acre and a half of grass.
Maybe. Yeah, exactly. So that might be it might be a good time to sell. If it might also be a good time to sell if you don't have um I don't know. if you don't have adequate ed equity to realize a gain, you want to retain that low interest rate,
Hmm.
okay? Or other, personal factors that might outweigh the reasons to move. I
Right.
totally get it, okay? But if you have some sort of income still coming in, think about, okay, I'm tired of having to clean this, 5,000 square foot house, or I'm tired of having to mow this, 2 acre piece of land. How about just hiring somebody? It might be better for you to just still be home and still that be your place and have somebody else do those things that are you're getting really irritated with.
Can I add
You
one to the list? I mean, I'm not a realtor,
mm,
but I know a few of you, so I'm
hmm
gonna, and I've moved a bunch of times. I've only owned one house, and it's going to be the only one I ever own, but I have moved a lot.
Yeah.
I think my wife and I moved in the 12 years we were married before we moved to Charlottesville. We moved 11 times. I mean,
Mm,
that's radio. That's why we hadn't purchased anything because it was like, well, what if this
yeah.
radio job doesn't work out and we have to move again?
Yeah.
Moving is incredibly tumultuous.
hmm
And you have to consider that if
That's
you're
right.
thinking, well, we could get a nice smaller place. Smaller places, that means you're going to have to get rid of a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's packing a moving van or hiring a moving company. And then,
Yeah.
what do we storage? What do we move into the
Yeah.
new place? Moving is a
And
consideration that you have to think about.
you do. And so it's very expensive.
Hmm.
And it's also, also think about this. Think about your age and your physical condition. When you're moving, just hire somebody to do everything for you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I was able to move this couch when we moved in 20 years ago. Why can't I move it
uh,
now?
exactly. That's what I'm tr Yeah, exactly. So those are things to consider as well, and I appreciate you bringing that up. I will say this: there are a lot of people that you just need to prepare for the sale in the right way. And I do believe that these steps, these questions, these important things to think about are all, very good reasons to to try and decide whether or not you want to move or whether or not you want to age in place.
That's a great
You know,
point.
yeah, yeah, because aging in place there's nothing wrong with it. But there are people that have a really I don't know what you would say, a bad experience with maybe hiring someone.
Hmm.
And what I would do is ask your realtor who they would recommend. I want somebody to mow my lawn now. I don't feel like doing it. I have the money to be able to pay somebody. Who would you recommend?
Hmm. Or
I want,
ask around your neighborhood. Also, I
yeah.
mean,
hmm
you have to know yourself. So if let's say your neighbor
hmm
goes and moves into a 55 plus, with the great graduated assisted living,
hmm hmm
that's a lot of people. It's almost like being on a cruise ship 24/7. There's always someone
Yeah.
around. There's always some act. Maybe you just like being quiet and alone for a while. And so,
Yeah.
your own personal tastes and likes have to be part of it too, don't you think, Cynthia?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. There's never, I think, a single person who moves for the exact same reason as the next person.
So well said.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
have to
think
think all that.
this is why real estate is so personal, and and why getting a good realtor to help you navigate through whether or not you want to sell, when you want to sell. When would be the ideal
Hmm.
time? That's another thing to ask your realtor. When would be an ideal time? I mean, there's times when I've taken pictures in the summer because they knew they were going to sell their house in January.
And you didn't want the picture full of snow in the yard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've sold houses in the snow, but but still, planning is
Mhm.
huge. And if you plan with the right advice and you plan, uh, correctly, you'll come out in the long run better off.
Well, that's why
And
it's important. You talk about this program being, informational, like a seminar. It's important to
Mhm.
have a realtor that has empathetic heart. I mean, is
Yeah,
is interested in helping you in this one instance, and
right,
and and that's
right.
why that's such an important part of the process.
It is because here's the thing. People, who was it? Teddy Roosevelt, I think, said something along the lines of, people don't care about what you know until they know about how much you
I
care.
It's a great. I don't know if he said it or not, but I'll take you saying it and just take it to the bank.
Hmm.
But thank you, Cynthia. Again, it's
That's right.
findhomesusa.com. I will make sure she gets the audio of this, so the list will be online very soon. Cynthia, you have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the nice spring weather, and don't look out in the backyard too much.
I know, right? You take care.